Finally, I got a hit. Wait, what? Hello everybody. Today we are going to run through Pokemon Emerald using only a Tropius. I personally always liked this guy's design. Unfortunately, you can only find it kinda late into the game. So at that point, you probably already have a solid team and have no reason to catch it. The rules are unchanged. I can only use the starter in combat. I can't use any items in combat. I can't raise my evasion in any way, and I can't use cheats or glitches. Taking a peek at Tropius stats, we can see that the sum total is quite good, clocking in at 460, but they are spread more or less evenly, which is not a great idea in Pokemon, especially in these kind of challenges where generally a glass cannon does a lot better. This time I chose a lonely nature to raise my attack. I thought that would be fine since I have growth to raise my special attack, but it was a mistake. The fight against me goes quite well. At this point, I have way more stats than the regular starters, so even with a crit, she can't do much to me. Initially, I wanted to make Tropius a mixed attacker, since her special move pool is very shallow to say the least. Unfortunately, that did not quite work out, because her physical move pool is not that great either, but we'll expand on that later. Now it's time to take on Roxanne. After leveling a little bit, Tropius learned Razor Leaf, which is our first special move, and it is super effective against her too. Surprisingly, her rock moves do a lot of damage to me. I know I'm weak to them, but I was expecting a bit less considering my high base physical defense. Fortunately, they don't attack me anymore, so I can take the badge without any worries and zero resets. Next, I rescued Pico, and judging by the previous fight against the Grant, you know it was easy. After that, I challenged May to a fight in the optional battle against her. Midway through the battle, I learned Stop, which is a great move, so I used it against the Torchic for another easy win. Up next is the gym fight against Brawly. Since he can only use fighting moves and I resist them, I felt very confident that I could defeat it. I also have Gust, but even if it is super effective and stab, it does not do that much damage because of its base power. Makuhita uses a couple of wool caps, so Gust is going to do even less damage to him. Therefore, I switched to Razor Leaf to secure the kill on it and get the second badge. Now we can proceed with the main story and get to Slateport. Here we have to fend off a couple more Team Aqua grunts that wanted to steal some stuff. They are both very easy. I can use Razor Leaf against the Carvanas, and since it does not make contact, I don't even have to take their rough skin damage. For Zubat, I had to use Stomp, since it 4 times resists the grass, but it was a one-shot nonetheless. After we are forced to listen to Archie for a while, we can move on to the May 2 fight. Surprisingly, it was not that hard. Even if I don't really have great moves, my stats can still carry me. Between flinches from Stomp and her AI using the wrong moves, I don't take that much damage. I was not expecting this fight to be hard, but not this easy either. The next major fight is Watson, and I was kinda scared about him. I don't have anything for the Magneton, and their electric moves are neutral against me, since I'm part flying type. I got paralyzed by Spark, so there goes the berry, and then Voltorb blows up. At least the Electrike is a bit less problematic since I can start using Growth against him. After using Growth a few times, I thought it was enough, and then it turns out I was wrong. Magneton leaves, it paralyzes me, so now I have to deal with that too. Thankfully, I get through, so the Magneton goes down. Then his last Pokemon comes out. I get a hit off, and that is enough since he does not resist grass. We then have to make our way to the top of the Stromboli and defeat Maxi before he makes it blow up. His team is not that great at this point. My Tiena is still a problem because of his ability. I can use Razor Leaf against it. I should have used it against Karnap too, but instead I get a crit, so that works too, I guess. Once we took care of that situation, we have to fight the next gym leader, and here is where I had to reset a couple of times. I tried it at level 38, but I could not do it, so I came back at 41. One of the problems in this fight is the fact that they use Sunny Day, so their moves do a lot more damage. But now I learned Solar Beam, so I can use the sun that they set up to screw them over. This time I could only use 3 growths, so I was not sure if that would be enough to one-hit KO the Torkoal. If I don't kill him, I will surely die to an overhit. Thankfully, it's just enough to finish him. With what is probably the hardest gym in the game for Tropius behind us, we have to backtrack and face our dead. Tropius has good health and defense, so I was hoping that they would not be able to destroy me, like with most of the other Pokemons I used. Against the Spinda, I used a couple of growths to raise my special attack, so that my grass moves can hit harder. I got confused, but I don't hit myself, so that was very lucky. For slacking, I could have used 2 magical leaves, but instead I used Solar Beam just to flex on him. Hey, for once this gym was not a mess. We are then given the Surf TM, and after getting through the tall grass in Route 119, we have to tackle the next fight against May. Her team is more scary, but I can outsmart Pelipper with Solar Beam. And then we can use Body Slam to take out the rest of her team. Around now, I realized that a mixed moveset might not be good enough for the league. I don't have anything to boost attack, and there are quite a few Pokemons with Intimidate. The more pressing matter now is Winona. I lost once to her because of Perish Song, so you're expecting me to not set up against Wablu, but I did it anyway. Against Pelipper I used Growth because he always protects, and then Magical Leaf to take it out. She then sends out her Tropius. I wanted to use the last few growths against him since he can't do much to me, and then use the sun that she will set up against her. Unfortunately, she uses Sunny Day too soon, so by the time I'm done with growth, there is little sun left. I tried to stall and see if she would use it again, but unfortunately she did not, so I have to proceed without it. Altaria actually gave me quite a scare. It turns out that I don't do a lot of damage to her, and she started setting up like crazy. I then got a crit with Solar Beam. I'm not sure if that was required, but thank you game anyway. Skarmory dies to another Solar Beam, and so we are done with this gym too. Winona gives us the Aerial Ace TM. Maybe I should have used it. With Stab is not that bad. Next, I started the fight with May in front of them all. I'm not going to lie, her team did not stand a chance. They are all kinda weak, and with a couple of hits each, they all fall. That's fine. I did this fight mostly for the experience and not the glory. Since Tropius has a slow growth rate, I need as much XP as I can to level up just a couple of times. After I took care of her and grabbed the magma emblem, I have to go stop Maxi again, this time from waking up a god. Unfortunately, we don't get there in time, but Groudon pieces out and Maxi attacks us. I probably should have used Groot, but instead I went in like a Rambo and started blasting. As you might imagine, that was not a good idea. I used Solar Beam against Camerupt, but he used Amnesia so he lives. I had to switch to Body Slam, but I'm running low on PPs since I forgot to heal before the fight. Crobat confuses me, and here everything goes downhill. He can do a lot of damage to me with wing attack, and if that was not bad enough, I keep hitting myself. And then, when I snap out of it, I run out of body slam PPs. Next up is a Tate and Liza. For this fight, I got a couple new goodies. First off, I picked up Giga Drain from the girl in Route 123. It has the same power as Magical Leaf, but allows me to heal a bit during the fight. Then I got Return, which has quite a bit more power than Body Slam, but can't paralyze. I still think it's better because you don't need to paralyze if the enemy is dead. The fight was a bit weird. I decided to focus on the Pokemon on the left and let Claydol use a bunch of ancient powers against me. Even if it is super effective, he does not do a lot of damage. But this strategy is still risky because he could get an Omniboost or two. Thankfully, he does not get it for a while, and I can mitigate the damage by sucking on the meteors. Lunaton surprisingly leaves, but I can finish it soon after. Unfortunately for the Claydol, Solrock used Sunny Day, so I can blast it away with just one Solar Beam, even after the boosts. After getting the Psychic badge from the twins, we have to join Steven in the double fight against the Team Magma. This fight is kinda long, but not super interesting. I started it by using a couple of growths so that I could hopefully one-shot their Pokémons, except for the flying ones. In the meantime, the Mightyena swaggers me, which is not great, since as always I have to hit myself for a bit. But when I snap out of it, we just trade hits back and forth for a good number of turns. After a while, I defeated all of Max's Pokémons, so the fight is now a 2v1. This time, Metang is quite proactive and helps me take them down by dealing a lot of damage. It takes a little longer to defeat the last couple of Pokémons, but at this point there is not a lot the Grant can do on its own. So far, the run has gone very well, but I'm kinda worried about the future, especially one specific fight in the league if I am going to use special moves, aka grass ones, since they are the only special moves Tropius can learn. After kicking Maxi out of Pokemon NASA, we have to dive down deep below, where we find Archie about to wake up Kyogre with the wrong orb. To stop him, we challenge him to a duel, and the loser will end up in the Shadow Realm. Wait, wrong franchise. Anyway, there is a bit of poetic justice because this fight goes more or less the same as the previous one against Maxi. And I don't mean the double one that we just did. I hit myself 3 times in a row, so my HP are extremely low. I recover some with Giga Drain, but then Crobat brings me low again. Then Sharpedo comes out, he outspeeds me and brings me even lower. Thankfully, I don't die to a crit, so we managed to defeat Archie. Let's all take a moment to move our cursor down, press the thumbs up button, the subscribe button, and the bell icon, because that's the real sub button those days. Also, if you are feeling like it, write something down in the comments, like how Appleton should be Tropius evolution. I'll be sure to check them out. Anyway, after we save the world, we have to fight the last gym leader in the region. Juan is a water type trainer, so he should be easy, but I would not be so cocky. As you saw, Kingdra can still be a problem. This time I start things with a growth, so I will have enough special attack to one-shot the Sea-Force and remove it from the equation. Ludwig confuses me, but I ignore it and take out the fish. Unfortunately, I do hit myself against the Celia. After that, I can resume the sweep. Thanks to the boosts from earlier, even if I am neutral on Kingdra, it dies from a Giga Drain. The rest of the team is very weak to grass, so they just get destroyed. I suppose this gym was not that hard after all. Well, now that we are done with the gyms, there is only the league left. But before we can start that adventure, we have to take care of Wally. I have to say, his team kinda counters me. He should have tried to paralyze me with the Dragon Threat, that would have sucked, but instead just does a little damage to me. Next is Roselia, and I'm surprised that he went down in one hit. I then used a Groot versus Del Cappi as he misses a Sing. Unfortunately, the Magneton leaves a hit, but instead of doing anything useful, he misses a Screech. I ended up using Return against the Gardevoir, but it's not quite enough, so Wally has the opportunity to throw a few potions on it. Eventually he runs out, so I can finish off the Gardevoir and proceed to the league fights. After using all of the rare candies I had, Tropius reaches level 81. I'm not sure if that is enough, but I don't want to spend a whole lot more time leveling. The fight against Sidney was not that easy. I can take care of his dark types with Giga Drain after a growth, but the problem are the two grass dark Pokémons. Against them I should have used grass moves even if they are resisted, because Return will not do that much damage either, all thanks to Intimidate. Whatever, ultimately they both die all the same, and the rest of his team quickly follows. Any damage I take is recovered immediately by Giga Drain. One down, three more to go. The second member of the Elite Four is a Phoebe, and she might be annoying with Curse. I thought that I could not quite take her on with only one Groot, so I used another one betting on a second Protect. My bet pays off, so now with +2, every attack should be a kill or not. Well, at least I did not get frozen. Could be worse. I was expecting a full restore, so I used the Solar Beam, but instead I ate another Ice Beam to the face. With her ace defeated, the rest of her team is much easier as they are a lot more squishy, so they actually go down in one hit each. After Phoebe is dealt with, we are halfway through the Elite Four. The next member is Glacia, and as you can guess from her name, she specializes in ice types. This fight might seem hard until you realize that I have plenty of time to set up growths, and half of her team is weak to my grass moves. So yeah, this was not a challenge at all. I used one extra growth while the second seal was setting up hail. It was probably not needed, but as they say, better safe than sorry. Also, it's not like hail is a threat. I can heal the chip damage with Gear Drain anytime I want. After a few more turns, her last Pokemon goes down, so we only have one Elite Four left. But he is by far the fight that I was most worried about. It might seem crazy, but I decided to remove Return to make room for Sunny Day. Let me explain. Solar Beam, even if it's 4 times resisted by Salamence, somehow does slightly more damage than Return after the Intimidate. Or at least I think so. I did not do the calcs. There is also the fact that I can use Growth 6 times against Shelgon to increase my special attack. When I'm done with that, I set up the Sun and use Solar Beam. I then proceed to Giga Drain against the Flygon to steal back some life and get to full HP. I need to lower Altaria's HP and then Solar Beam, otherwise it's not enough on its own. This time I used another Giga Drain because I thought it would be enough, but I was wrong. So let's go back to plan A. Giga Drain and then Solar Beam. This way, I am sure that it will be enough to defeat the Cloud Dragon. He then sent out the big boy himself, and like for Altaria, one solar beam is not enough. Trust me, I learned it the hard way. Since I have a lot of HP, I can survive one flamethrower and then take it out. Last but not least, it's Kingdra. The sun fades away, so I decided to set it back up before using one last solar beam. I'm surprised that Drake was not as hard as I expected. Only the champion left. Let's do this. I lost a few times against him because I got blasted by one too many blizzards, but eventually I learned my lesson and stopped at 2 growths. This lets me survive on a single digit HP. From here, I have to use a Giga Drain and recover a good chunk of HP, since Wailord has a ton of health. I then traded the Sun for one more Ice Beam to the face. Since I survived, I will consider it worth. And then I got back to training his Pokémon. With the Sun up, I can use Solar Beam on his tankier Pokémon like Tentacruel and Gyarados. Against Ludicolo, I used one more Growth, since he can't do that much damage to me. When he sends out Whiscash, I know I can one-shot it with Giga Drain and recover the last bit of HP. So I arrived at Gyarados with full health. Turns out one Giga Drain is enough for him, so that was kinda anticlimactic. Well, at least it's over now. Thank you for watching, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe and ring the bell to be notified. Also, if you have a few seconds, leave a comment down below to boost engagement. And if you want to go even further beyond, share the video with a friend. See you next week. Bye!